right now, in preparation of my case, I can put in a motion and ask for any material they have, right? So how does this differ? So, I mean, I can get maintenance records for an intoxilizer machine. I can get the certifications for the people that are either giving the breath test or they're the ones that are calibrating the machine.
Yes.
I mean, as it is now, and you're saying under a court order,
Right.
But for anything, I could put in a demand for discovery.
That's an excellent question, and I'm glad you asked it, because that's the perception. The perception of the law is that all you got to do is ask, and all the prosecution has to do is turn you down, because there's no requirement in the law. It's voluntary on the part of a prosecutor to turn any evidence over. Even if the court orders it, the prosecution is not required to turn it over under our law.
Okay, but if it's...
And to answer Mr. Goodell's objection about the prosecution turning over evidence that's favorable or exculpatory, that's not what the defendant needs. The defendant in a case needs to know the evidence against him for his preparation of trial, not the prosecution's preparation of trial.
Right, yeah, well, what I'm trying to figure out, Joe, is the first thing we do is put in for a demand for discovery, right?
Right.
And then supposedly they give us discovery. I look at what they give me, I go through my demand, and I will argue, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me this.
Are you talking about a civil case?
A criminal case.
Well, I'm sorry, but in a criminal case, discovery is not required. Even if the court, even if you have documents to ask for it, the court is not provided to order it, is not required to order it, nor is the prosecution required to turn it over. That is the law.
Yeah, well, Joe, when you start a criminal case, the very first thing you do is put in a demand for discovery.
Yes,
Would you agree with that?
I agree.
And and in that demand, I'm demanding the DA turn over the following material.
Well, we are very fortunate, and you are probably fortunate in Suffolk County to have DAs that want to cooperate in an effort for discovery, because they know, like most of us know, that if you turn over all the evidence in a case, that you'll get more pleas, and you'll get, most importantly, a fair trial, because everybody will know what the other side has, and you have a fair fight. But it's still not required by the law, Mr. Graf.
Yeah, I don't do that because I look at it, in Suffolk, it's trial by ambush. But I normally, we go through the motion practice here. I'm just wondering, what material is it that you're looking for that they're not turning over right now?
Right. I'm sorry.
What material are you looking for that they're not turning over?
You're asking for the material really that's in the prosecution file. Now, the prosecution doesn't know what evidence you need or what evidence that he has in his file to turn over that's going to help your case. That's why you should turn it over. You should turn it over to help the defendant prepare his case for trial, and to allow the defendant to know whether or not it's worthy of him to go to trial. If he has all the evidence in front of him, he may decide to plead out, and that doesn't happen.
So
most
can
cases.
the DA redact certain portions? Say, like I get a statement. Under this legislation, would the DA be able to redact certain portions of a statement or a police report? Would they be able to redact things out of it?
Well, if the DA has consented with the court, it's up to the court to determine whether or not he can redact. If he's filled out the forms and said that he's going to return or give you certain evidence, then I think the court would determine whether or not he's allowed to redact any of the material he says he's going to turn over.
All right. So now, if his complete file, say I have wiretaps, I have photographs in the same file, because it may be where I'm building a case against a bunch of different people, all right? And there's information on other people also, as far as maybe phone calls that I receive. Would I have to turn that all over too if it's an ongoing investigation?
Right. Under this bill, it's material and reasonable. It wouldn't be a problem under this bill.
And confidential informants, if I have information on a confidential informant and I have a whole sheet on it that I have to demonstrate why he's a confidential informant and, how many cases he's given me and everything like that, and I'm documenting that, would I have to turn that over too?
No, you can ask for a protective order, and most assuredly you would get it for a confidential informant.
Okay, thanks, Joe.